I wanted to touch on something, and it's something that we don't really talk about enough, and it has to do with pollution. You know, the different types of pollution. And environmentally speaking, we have quite a few different industries, facilities, all functioning, who have been given license to function in certain areas, certain neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm making reference to a particular restaurant that was closed because of, well, probably a number of reasons, but one of the key ones was noise pollution. Yeah. Now, depending on, you know, the area we're talking about in Lagos, where you're based, in my opinion, the residents of, you know, any area have the right to actually make complaints when things like that are happening. There was a lot of hula baloo about it happening. Was it over the weekend? I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
Closing down.
Yeah, true. From the video that we saw, it looked like a residential area.
Yeah.
And I guess from reports, it was reported to be a fast food. Mm. And then what we now know is that the ingenuity of the owner or the business acumen of the owner now stretched it in from fast food to
restaurants,
nightclub, ingenuity and all of that. But like you said, rules, governors, and someone said that someone was talking about how he lived abroad, but once he crosses that Nigerian immigration and comes into the country, it's like the worry now comes on him. I know that. And so that reason, that thing of not obeying laws or not inconveniencing people just comes over. Over there, you know, once a lot of us go there, we just know the right things to do and we keep to it. Yeah. You know, yes, there is that agency that has been in Lagos for a while, right? And do you think about it? If you think of your fellow man, or you think of yourself, would you want a nightclub in an area where people are sleeping?
It's actually...
And then by 2 a.m., so somebody put a video by 2 a.m. So this happened to me also one time. There was this religious place that they were blaring from loudspeakers, right? And I woke up by 5 o'clock to get to work, 4:30 or so, and it was just on. I did a video. I finally did not send it, but I did a video. It was almost about the same thing this person did. It's actually wicked. You know, a nightclub.
It does feel very unfair. It does feel very unfair.
And then so that's a nightclub.
Community like
religious gatherings, religious places, they do their own. I used to attend a particular religious body where, if you step out the door, I'm talking about if you are outside, if you stand by the door, you cannot hear anything.
You can't hear anything from inside.
You can't hear. But then just step inside the door, it will seem as though...
Yes, you're in a different world.
I'm telling you, the sound is so massive. The place wasn't built like a studio.
Sure.
But they retrofitted it in such a way that they could handle their sound and noise and all that.
Very true.
So if every religious organization thinks that way, thinks of their fellow person as they was themselves, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes. So, you know, it's not even just only noise pollution we have to consider. There are, there was another restaurant that was closed yesterday because apparently they've been pouring oil and fatty products into the gutters. Now, for those that understand what this means, if you pour oil that has been heated into a gutter, by the time it gets to air temperature, it's going to start to congeal and harden and eventually block the drainage. And it's in areas where there are multiple restaurants. Imagine how many cooks and kitchens are pouring oil into the gutters at the same time. Now, we've complained about plastics, single-use plastics before, pure water bags, but there are other things causing crazy contamination in our neighborhoods. The gutters already have challenges being blocked by sand and debris and refuse. Adding things like oil and fatty products to the gutters is another thing entirely. Now, I'm not saying that, so I'm even wondering, when these restaurants and facilities are being opened, what sort of rules and regulations are they actually given and how are they supposed to carry them out? So for instance, how are they supposed to dispose of this oil?
So that's literally going to be my points, my talking points, right? I like to say that Nigerians as a whole, normally we usually are not so much. I think the system is one that is not necessarily so proactive. We like to come and probably do fire brigade after the damage has already been done.
Okay.
Now, of course, before anyone sets up a business, there are parameters. There are literally things you're literally meant to go through, even at registration level, which is literally the basic level, right? When you're literally registering a company, they actually tell you, you state there the kind of businesses you're meant to run. Now, I'm talking about in the situation of the one where a fast food was literally converted to a nightclub and all of that, right? And right from that point, the mission and vision of it, and most times, these are things you see, right? Because even in movies, even like normally, right? Normally you have restaurants that at night converts into all of that. But when you talk about a fast food, now a fast food is and a restaurant, there are differences and all of that. That's why the fact that people might not necessarily understand it. But then again, in the structure of building it, inspections were literally meant to have been done before it gets to this point of even running to make sure that, as a fast food, so now talking about fast food having the right disposal systems and all of that, this is something that is meant to be entrenched at the construction level of it, right? Before the business even starts to even like run at all. Do you understand? So that's the thing. So there are officers that are literally, this is the work they're meant to be doing, to make sure these things are provided for. It's not now that you're not seeing them, you will not shut it down. Before, they literally are meant to be a system of waste disposal, normally. Then, of course, talking about the whole conversion of fast food, that one was just...
So even abroad, there's something called a liquor license. There are some places that are not permitted to sell alcoholic products, and you can't have a nightclub without alcoholic. Well, in my opinion, I don't think any right now exists without alcoholic beverages.
Yes,
so if that, for instance, that fast food had a liquor license, then that's taking it a step further. There are just a lot of questions to
of course,
be answered.
Even the structure. Talking about the structure. We're talking about soundproofing.
Yeah.
Now, there's no need for you to soundproof a fast food.
Not necessarily.
But in a situation where you're now moving into like a restaurant, where sometimes some restaurants you actually go there, even during the day, they play loud music and all of that. But then again, once you're stepping out, you don't hear anything. Now talking about converting it. And the funny thing is that it was not only not soundproof, the roof.
Open air.
It was open air, like there was literally, do you understand? And it was a residential area. And the person that literally even took the video was taking the video from a far distance. However, the sound was so clear and so loud at that time of the night. That is just thoughtless, in my opinion.
So very well point. Also mentioning the part of the fast food disposing, two things come to mind. Even if there was no agency to monitor, right? If you pour the oil there and it clogs the gutter, where would you pour the next one?
You would dig
Exactly.
it.
So think about, even you that are the person now, think about if you pour it and it did not flow, where would you pour the next one? So even you yourself, it's silly thinking. Because from the pictures we saw, the place was clogged. In fact, it wasn't even just more than being clogged. We're talking about maggots. It was even it was even that bad. So my point is,
and that is where food is being produced. Do you understand?
You have medical waste.
Yeah.
They found a way to pack their stuff and dispose of medical waste differently. Because medical waste is one of the worst kind of waste. It's toxic. It's chemical. There's a lot of things there. So if you know you have this, you should have that kind of plan. Because when you pour, like I said, it's you yourself. Where will you pour it the next time?
Sure.
So I think that we need to think of our fellow man. Government has its own issues. Yes, we know. But you see, on ourselves, we can help make the situation a little bit more bearable for ourselves. If we get to think about the other person as though it was me. It's the same thing. Even me, myself, when I want to turn on the gen, I'm telling you, a lot of people, as much as I have a right to,
You
I think about it. This is I'm on way to see it. Make sure once my things are charged, I can just manage a bit. Until it has gone to the point where it's not to hold me. And then when I put it up, my mind, they do me. Like because if it was another person, I would be
you would be upset.
And just to mention, I mean, not too long we had the breakout of cholera. There's mpox, all these things. We are not thinking these are not things that are just manufactured. The ones come from animals that come from animals. But there are other things and diseases that can literally be caused by airborne situation. So
at this point, we're definitely watching all these stories and hoping that, at least one or two of us are learning a thing or two. And of course, the regulatory bodies do what is needed to make sure that these things stop happening. And, hopefully it's not a case of, someone actually tried to regulate this place and was, in quotes, given reasons to just look away. We're going to be taking your thoughts, comments, contributions online. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and tag us Wake Up Nigeria TVCE with your thoughts. Let's take a break, guys. We'll be back after this.